got tea coming.
Hello,
it's so glorious.
everybody, and welcome back to our Extra Life 25-hour marathon.
Guess what
Hi,
time
guys.
it is? Guess what time it's well past.
Yeah,
So
we said we were going to do this at 3
we
o'clock.
said we were going to do it at 3. It's 5.
Hey, folks. I'm Andrew. I'm one of the organizers of Battleground Games and Hobbies' Extra Life Marathon. And I promised our chat a couple weeks ago, because of a recommendation made in our Discord, the link to which is somewhere down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's in the video description. If you're watching this on the VOD on Twitch, it's just one of the links below here. Anyhow, somebody on our Discord said that we should, I don't remember how it came up, we should cut hair.
We were chatting about hair and hair color and haircuts and hairstyles. And
they said I should cut my hair because I have quite long hair and a little bit scraggly.
But it hasn't been trimmed in a while. So.
And I said, if I'm going to cut my hair, we should make that part of Extra Life. We should make that something that we do as a reward for people donating. I set an ambitious goal. I said, okay, folks, I will get my hair cut if we hit $1,000 in donations by 3 a.m. during the Extra Life Marathon.
We hit that in the first hour and a half.
Yeah. We blew past $1,000.
Done.
That's what happens when you have an unfair amount of hair.
There you go.
Unfair.
Then I said if we hit $1,500, I would dye the remainder of my hair a shockingly bright purple.
We will see how possible this is. He does have some gray in there, and gray is harder to dye bright colors like that, which I know because I pay attention to such things.
And for
I don't
a while,
know how much gray
like,
I have because I color my hair
It looked like we were not going to hit that benchmark up until about 15 minutes before 3 a.m.
Yeah.
When somebody donated
at 2:45.
Exactly enough
an anonymous
to get
donor.
us to $1,500 in online donations.
I feel like it was some of our friends just took up a collection amongst themselves to make that happen.
So we were $178 away.
And then we got a $178
and there was
donation.
Exactly a $178 donation.
So that was that.
So I'm not going to do the dyeing on stream.
No, it's too messy to do in the store. We really do need like a good sink that he can get his hair like washed out in.
Amanda is going to
trim
my hair.
On our
it still
podcast.
Says we're doing
Mythic Battle Pantheon.
Yeah,
that's welcome. What's the character? If you cut his hair, he loses strength. Who's that? Samson.
Samson is not a Mythic Battle Pantheon character.
No, he's
I doubt
not.
it.
I'm just saying.
He's a biblical character, not. Okay.
So you're going to have to pull in.
I'm going to have to pull in, and you're going to have to undo my braid.
No, I don't.
Oh, you're just going to chop the whole thing? All right, guys, here it's going to happen.
I brought my hair cutting scissors. This is what we use
cut my hair.
to trim.
So, yeah, I feel like I should do the. Oh man, I can hear it. I can hear the hair being trimmed.
That's it.
It's gone. Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there it is. The braid. So Andy's hair has been cut.
You did this. You did this, chat.
Because it was braided, right now it's definitely longer in the front than in the back. The back is shorter because of the way it was braided.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to go and get that cleaned up and trimmed.
Yep, I'm going to get it trimmed on Monday, which is tomorrow now.
You got a real Ben Franklin vibe.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Ben Franklin
Get you
is my
a
idol.
cheese steak. It's going to be
I
great.
need bifocals.
Yeah.
Bifocals.
So yeah, that's the hair cutting.
The hair cutting has happened.
And we're going to be making some waffles.
That's right.
Soon.
It is waffles time. No, right now is waffle time.
It's waffle time now.
So that's why.
So yeah, that's the braid.
I'm gonna change the title of the video to Waffle Time.
Yeah, waffle time.
Continue my game with Alex. If he's still there.
Oh, Andy. We did it.
We did it.
And I might start some Lego.
Sure, you can do that if you want to start Legoing.
Maybe I will. We're gonna keep the mat rolled up.
Yeah.
For the waffle making because it does get greasy and messy. So we're gonna put like paper towels down for it, but we don't want to do that on top of a nice gaming mat. That seems like a real bad idea. So we're just gonna leave the mat
All
rolled
right.
up.
Let's do this thing. All right, chat. It's that time.
It's waffle
It's
time.
waffle time.
It's waffle
we brought
time.
a bunch of toppings. We've got actual whipped topping or whipped cream. We've got dairy whipped topping, 2 cans of that because people love that stuff.
I am not a fan of like the fake.
Yeah, that's why
dairy
we got
stuff.
this. Amanda, you should hide this so
So
that
yeah, this is mine.
yeah.
The real whipped cream
So we've got some of that.
is my stuff.
I've got some buttermilk, which is a key ingredient
back
in the
there.
waffles. Got eggs.
So these are not just any waffle.
Yeah, this
these-
is my family recipe known as Wheat Dream Waffles, which is a family recipe that has been handed down through the males of the Wheat family for 4 generations now.
The doodly wheats. Get
And they
this
are
recipe.
an official part of the wheat male population. I never got paper towels. Derek said he was going to get me some.
There's some down here.
Can you pass me some paper towels?
Yeah. Here.
So yeah,
Have I mentioned how much I love these wireless mics? They're
so
great.
convenient. I want to thank our subscribers
Yeah,
and the
thank
folks who
you.
give us bits.
To our bit donors, to our subscribers, to anyone who has contributed to this stream.
Because that gets us the wireless mics.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
oh my God, they're so,
The mug, the glass that I'm going to use to separate the eggs is nicely chilled from having been in the car.
I just
For the
need
last
everyone to
18 hours.
understand that I just opened this box and I think I opened the bottom of it and found bag 37.
Wow.
This is not getting finished.
No,
Tonight.
no. I anticipate you'll get through a few bags, but
Or
not the whole
rather,
thing.
this morning. They aren't very big bags, I will say that, at least not these ones.
So, the observant among you will note that I have cheated. I
Yeah.
pre-prepared all the dry ingredients
It's so
for
much
the
easier.
waffles. Basically, the original recipe for Wheat Dream Waffles, which, is, as I said, has been passed down through the Wheat family. I don't know where it originated. My great-grandfather gave it to my grandfather, who gave it to me, and my father,
Yeah. And your brother.
and my brother.
Oh.
The original recipe is exceptionally easy to remember, but I should probably still write it down at some point.
Yeah.
But
you don't want to happen to you what happened to
it
my
is
grandmother
based
in
on the
lemon
number
meringue pie.
2. I will just say that. In that it involves 2 eggs, 2 cups of flour, and 2 of some other secret ingredients, which you can probably figure out for yourselves. I like to double that. So,
Especially for an event like this.
yes, for an event like this, a double batch involves 4 cups of buttermilk.
It's a lot of
Well,
buttermilk.
Yeah, which is actually known as a quart of buttermilk. So I
Makes
can
it
make
easy.
2 double batches with 2 quarts of buttermilk. So I prepped 2 double batches of dry ingredients. The trick to the Wheat Dream waffles, and part of what makes them so light and fluffy, is that I have to separate the eggs and beat the whites separately. So that is what my first task is. So I've got a bowl,
I've got bags 2 and 3.
measuring spoon that the measuring cup is just to dole the waffles out into the waffle iron once I've got everything prepped. I've got a glass measuring, what you call this? A large Pyrex measuring cup.
Yeah,
I use that for the beating of the egg whites.
So I will mention that I have been unpacking the Hogwarts Castle stuff. These are the instruction booklets. There are 2 of them.
Booklets, plural.
Oh no, there are 4.
Yeah, but they might be multiple. No, Lego things are all visual, so they're not in separate languages.
Right. And folks will realize I've unpacked a lot of bags.
Yeah, look at all this.
So one of the things that I like to do when I'm building Lego is I like to knoll my pieces. And I do 1 bag at a time. Lego has started doing this with some of their bigger sets.
John,
You'll get 2
can you pass me that trash
large
bag
bags
so
full
that I
of
have
the
somewhere
like
to put the egg,
very big pieces.
the
So
egg shells.
this has
Yes.
like some craggy rock
Just
bits and
whose
some of
jacket
the
is
like
that? Just down there is
larger
fine.
gray pieces that
Yeah.
look like airplane
Yep.
noses and stuff. These aren't numbered. These are not numbered bags. So I just sort of have to keep these around until such time as the instructions tell me I need them. So now that I've got bags 1, 2, and 3 out, I'm going to sort of put 4, 5, 6. They were vaguely packed in order. You know, the later stuff was. I don't see 7 though. 7's gonna be tricky. It's 4, 5, 6. I have 8. I have 9.
Now, I have to hope I'm not going to overload any circuits by
10.
plugging
Yeah,
the
we got a
waffle
lot
iron
plugged
in
in here. 11.
If the stream suddenly goes down, chat,
That's
it's
why.
because I've blown a circuit breaker. The waffle iron does soak a lot of energy. I've tried in the past loading multiple waffle irons at the same time.
Doesn't work.
Well, unless you've got a really robust electric system. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, bag 7 is among the missing at the moment.
Oh dear.
It's a little upsetting. Oh, no, it was still in the box. Thought I had gotten everything. I had not.
All right, I have separated
All right,
4
11.
eggs.
Let's put,
Can we move the box?
yes, 37. 36.
Beating the egg whites. They should be fluffy, with light peaks. I have to say, waffles are such an easy thing to make, especially if you've
35.
prepared a little bit ahead of time, which I have.
34.
It's a good thing they're easy because I don't have full brain power.
33.
We've been streaming for 18 hours now, on and off. I'd say we probably streamed about 16 and a half hours. I'm
Yeah.
guessing about an hour and a half we've had
32,
downtime
31.
between streams. So Amanda,
29, yeah.
what has been your favorite part of this year's Extra Life so far?
Oh man. So I was actually talking with John about this earlier. I have just been really enjoying being more of a part of all of the gaming. So in previous years, if you
You've
have
been the prize
in the
maven.
store, you may have noticed I've spent in the past a lot of time behind the counter. And I don't work here, but during the Extra Life events, I've spent a lot of time behind the counter taking care of prize stuff because we do a lot of raffles. We have a lot of prizes, and I like to know that it's being handled. And this year, I did not have to worry about it.
Yeah,
did
I
not
took
have to
some
give
of
it
the
a
cues
second
from your organization in past years, and I sort of organized everything. We also, this is something we did this year that we had not been able to do in years past. We started offering people the chance to buy raffle tickets early.
Yep.
Because not everybody can be here in the store for the full 25 or even any of the 25-hour marathon. And I thought it was unfair for those people not to be able to enter in any of the raffles.
Yeah.
So we announced many of the raffles ahead of time, and I was able to put those prizes up in the store early,
Yeah.
and
To
people have
be
been
able to
able
show
to
them
enter
off.
into them for a week now, which
Wow,
means
my
a
head
lot
is-
less work for Amanda.
I'm
Oh,
giddy.
I tilted the camera so that they'd be able to see me when I was standing up. I'll tilt it down a little bit.
It's okay. How about we just tilt
There.
it to this?
Now they'll be able to
Okay.
watch my crotch while I cook.
You could have just tilted it to the side so that it was focused on the two of us
Okay,
here.
okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
It's very early in the morning, and we've been up for a very long time.
Yeah, we have been up for a little
We
while.
woke up at 7 a.m. 7:30. I was up at 7. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, I mean, you get nerves, right?
You do. You're sort of feeling like, got to get it started. Got to get going.
Gotta make
that's
the
perfect.
donuts.
That's perfect. 4 booklets. Now, I will say I'm really happy with how they packaged this. So as a Lego person, as someone who loves Lego, and I do, I love Lego, I have built a fair number of the larger kits in my time, and a couple of the larger kits that I've built, the booklets are long ways instead of upright, and they've ended up curled. And then getting them to lie flat is really annoying because they're always curled up in half. This is 4 booklets as opposed to the Sandcrawler and the Helicarrier, which were 2 gigantic, like phone book size booklets. These are 4 slimmer booklets, which I appreciate. So we're gonna take one, a whole bunch of decals.
Decals.
Bunch of decals. So we've got like the house banners, and we've got some door carvings. We've got some bones. We've got the portraits.
Yeah, I was expecting that.
All the portraits that
fat
they are
lady.
not actually. Well, it's specifically, we've got actually the interior of one of the bathrooms. We've got Moaning Myrtle. She's right here.
Did she have a portrait?
No, she's like a ghost floating, and she's not just a ghost, she's a microfig ghost.
Yes, that makes sense.
The Hogwarts Castle kit is so gigantic because Hogwarts as a place is so gigantic. And the thing about that is, it would be like 3 times the size if they made it to scale with the regular minifigs. So much like the Helicarrier, instead of minifigs, they have microfigs, which are bitty little things
Yeah.
that are basically 1 pip wide. And Moaning Myrtle is not just Moaning Myrtle, she is a microfig Moaning Myrtle, which I really appreciate. I like Lego's sense of humor.
Yes. We have to
So-
get the video game is available now.
So yeah,
Lego Harry Potter has been re-released.
Lego Harry Potter was re-released as a full, oh my god, these booklets are gorgeous. It has like stills from the movie comparing the movie sets with the
with the
Hogwarts.
Lego version.
So there is someone, and I swore I was going to look up her name before tonight, and I didn't, and I don't have the brain power to go digging right now. There is a woman who put together an absolutely astounding semi-scale model of Hogwarts based on a combo of the movies and books that is probably, I mean, like I said, it would be like 3 times. It's more than 3 times the size of this kit, what this kit's going to be. It's gigantic, and beautiful. And I know she has in the past brought it around to like conventions like
Wow,
Lego
this waffle iron
conferences
is
and
going to
stuff.
take a while to warm up.
It's freezing.
It's freezing.
Yeah, you better
I mean,
plug
it's
it
been
in now.
sitting in a cold car for 18 hours. I should have plugged it in earlier.
Well, we'll plug it in now. And
I didn't want it to warm up before the waffles were ready.
yeah.
But didn't realize how cold it was.
So, yeah, she did an absolutely amazing job putting this thing together, and this was well before Harry Potter. The Harry Potter kits, the original ones, were some of the earliest licensed property kits.
We actually
that Lego
have
put
one of
out.
those because
We
I
do
got it
have
for
one,
you as a Christmas present.
and it's an amazing Christmas present. I've been holding on to it for a time when I really, really, really need a good like emotional boost.
But it's funny to look at that early Harry Potter kit.
So different. Some of the earliest Harry Potter kits didn't even come with full kits. They were like characters and a couple of pieces of furniture.
Man, I go
and a
to
box.
brush my hair back, it's gone.
And it's
There's
not
nothing
there.
there.
Yeah. And the kits had boxes that you opened up, and they had like little like diorama backgrounds because they didn't have a full kit. It wasn't like it is now. So yeah, the Lego, the licensed property Lego has come so ridiculously far, and they're gorgeous. They do a really nice job with these. So yeah, this booklet has
Well, you were saying the Lego
a whole
video
thing.
game.
Yeah, the Lego video game just came out. They remastered it and have just put it out as, instead of years 1 through 4 and then years 5 through 7, they've put out
The remaster.
the remaster that's all one game, which is awesome. And it's all one game that's now available for like Xbox One, Switch, and all the current consoles. So, but yeah, this is a really beautifully put together
Amanda,
book.
do you want it for the Xbox or for the Xbox One or for the Switch?
I went for the Xbox One. I want those
figured.
Chivos.
Oh, that's true. You need your Chivos.
This has like a whole profile of the design team that put this together. This is really, really nicely done. If you in 3 different languages.
Yeah.
If
need to
you
be
are
trilingual to even
a
assemble it.
Lego fan, guess what? You're gonna love this nonsense. So this is actually telling me what portion of the castle I'm gonna be making. It has a black and white, like a grayscale illustration, and
It's going to take me forever to get used to not having hair.
picture section here depicting what part and showing where in the castle it is. It's this dungeon part right down here, starting at the base. And it tells me which founder is going to be in here. So the only regular size minifigs are the 4 founders. So we're gonna get Godric Gryffindor, which seems kind of funny because we're building the basilisk. We're building the Chamber of Secrets.
Which should be Slytherin.
You'd
should be
think
Salazar.
it would be Salazar that we'd
Yeah.
be getting, but apparently not.
Go Gryffindor. I'm a Hufflepuff. I think everybody knows this about me. I'm a Hufflepuff. It's just,
I'm a necromancer.
I'm not a necromancer.
I'm a Ravenclaw.
I am reminded of the meme, it's hard to raise a family.
So this is very nicely telling me what each bag is going to put together, which is really, really helpful. In a kit this big, it's really helpful to have that sort of planning. Lego does a really nice job putting their kits together.
Should I go to overhead for the Nolaning? The Nolaning?
Sure. The thing about Lego is they really do like put together their kits very nicely. They're intended to be incredibly intuitive. They don't need to print their booklets in multiple languages because everything is just visual. So like the only reason this has multiple languages is because it has all those profiles of the various design team members and the design of the... Ooh, he's got a beard in here somewhere. It's, you know, he's got... Did I get a spare beard? Oh my god, they gave me a spare beard.
That's good. You need a spare beard.
It is really good. I did not bring any container or baggie in which to put the spare pieces.
Oh dear.
So we're going to have to figure that out eventually.
Give them all to...
I don't think a spare beard is going to fit on his Lego mug. So there he is. Godric Gryffindor. Man, he's got a 5-head. Oh, I forgot his cape. Tired.
Yeah, I think we're all tired at this point. John, you're not tired? How many extra 5-hour energy drinks have you drunk? Nice. I'll admit I did drink a Monster Energy drink at about 3 in the morning. So that's what's keeping me going. What's that? I'm not that desperate. Like I said, this is taking forever to heat up.
I can't drink energy drinks. I am a super taster.
Oh, yeah.
And super tasters have the wonderful ability to taste a bitter chemical, but also like flavors can be very intense and sometimes unappealingly intense. And I find that a lot of fruity flavors can be really, really intense. And a lot of these energy drinks have a sort of fruity bouquet.
Yes. You can scoot some of this stuff out of your way so that you have more room to put pieces.
Thank you. So I like to knoll out my pieces, get them organized. These cloaks are obviously the cloaks for the 4 founders. So I just put Gryffindors on, and I'm putting the rest to the side.
So I am going to be making a second batch when this first batch is done. Just putting all my
I'm sure Tom will want at least 1, if not 2. We also have a bunch of microfigs here. I think I really love the microfigs. I think they're really funny. And with a set this big, you need to have something like that.
So Amanda, your favorite part has been being able to
be on
participate
stream.
more.
It's to be able to participate more. Like last year was better. And the year that I did the helicarrier, I broke that out early. And I started building it downstairs midday on Saturday while Andy was still working at the counter.
Oh yeah.
And that was before we were really streaming. We weren't up here doing that. So a lot of the stuff that we did like last year was not stuff that we had been doing prior. And I broke out the helicarrier very early on and started building that, which was a lot of fun. That was great. This year, though, I really feel like it's been a more cohesive, for me, event. I've felt like I'm a part of the stream, which has been really nice.
What games have you gotten a chance to play in so far?
So I played Hexplorit, which I loved.
That was fascinating.
That game was awesome.
I
want to play more of that.
I was reading the instructions
so much
to
fun.
Forbidden Sky while you were playing Hexplorit.
Forbidden
and I
Sky
kept
was
having to look
a
away
little
from
frustrating.
Forbidden Sky. Well, yeah, it's definitely one that is challenging. Ooh, that is the sound of a waffle iron that wants a waffle inserted.
Put a waffle in me.
It's warm.
Put a waffle in me is what it's saying.
To date, knock on wood, I have not set off any fire alarms with this thing.
Why would you say something like that? Why would you do that?
So that it's on record.
Yeah,
It's in the internet now. You can't take it back. There. First waffle is waffling.
First waffle is away.
So, yeah, you got to play Hexplorit.
I got to play Hexplorit, and I loved it. That was super fun. That was a great game.
Like John said during the stream, you get a real sense that you're leveling up That was one of the
moves-
coolest parts of it.
So we did the double,
double time, yeah.
thing, which definitely makes things move faster. But I feel like even if we hadn't been doing double time, there were times when I was getting like 4 cards, I would have gotten 2 without the double time stuff.
Yeah.
So I really feel like we still would have been leveling up a lot faster than I had expected. When I first got my card for that, I was looking at it and thinking, we have to pay how much gold? This is going to be a grind. Like, that was my initial thought, was we're going to be grinding through this because we're going to have to be going out, doing a mission, getting a bunch of gold, coming back to a city, spending our gold to like boost our stats, because the first time you boost a stat it costs 2 gold. The next time you boost it, it costs 4 gold. The next time you boost it, it costs 5 gold. I hadn't realized that some of the bounty that you can get from finishing missions isn't like gold. It's cards that boost your stats. So that was cool. So yeah, I really did like Explore It.
Yeah.
That's a whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. What else have I played? Forbidden Sky was very frustrating, as all of the Forbidden games are wont to be. It's just, that's how they are.
Golden, brown, perfect waffle. Here, sweetie.
I claim first waffle.
It is yours if you want it. I think my favorite part of this Extra Life has been Artemis.
I was going
Because
to
I
say,
did get a
so
chance to play that.
for board games, definitely Explore It has
Yeah.
been my favorite. For non-board game activities, Artemis is like tip-top.
Yeah.
Artemis is
I'm so glad that Bob brought
amazing.
that. It occurs to me I didn't pay for my ticket to play it.
Neither did I, but Andrew just came up to me and asked me if I
Yeah.
wanted to play, so I'm gonna toss in a few bucks anyway. So
Yeah.
it was so good.
I haven't had as much chance to play games because I've been running
doing
tech.
tech.
But I loved watching Orbis. That is totally a game I want to play. And I loved watching Explore It. That was totally a game that I want to play. Hey, Derek. First Waffles are coming up. If you want to tell people to buy their tickets now. I'm sure some people have stowed tickets away for this very occasion.
Waffles for charity are underway, so if you want to have a person cook a waffle, it's a 1 ticket.
But yeah, so just to explain Artemis to the chat,
Yeah, for
For the
anybody
sake
who's
of the
not
VOD,
familiar with it, and I'll admit that I wasn't familiar with it before it showed up in the
Artemis-
store.
if you've played Captain Sonar,
Yep.
that's something to serve as a frame of reference.
Or if you've played
you-
Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Right. If you've watched Star Trek, you know that the bridge on Star Trek has a number of different officers who have different jobs during a mission. And the way Artemis works is you have a number of different computers that people sit at, and each computer is a different station. So you're a different officer sitting at that station. If you're the science officer, which I was, your job is to be scanning for any anomalies or other ships and report that to the rest of the crew. so that they can use that information either in battle or to go explore something. If you're in the engineering, you need to keep energy going in the ship. You need to keep power. You need to be routing things to different systems. If you are comms, you need to be communicating with different ships and space stations and be on the lookout for maydays and stuff. So everyone has a different role to play, and you're all doing it at once, and you all have your own stuff on your screen. And the captain is giving orders, and you're keeping track of things, and it's a ton of fun. And the way we've got it set up downstairs, the way Bob set it up, is we actually have a curtain hanging below the loft, and he's got a big screen projecting the front view, the sort of main screen of the ship. So you feel like you are sitting in the cockpit of a ship. And
He's got programmable light bars that do the shield strength and
so good.
red alert.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And sound effects and everything. It is so much fun.
Bob went all out on this thing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And we've had other, we've had Rock Band set up and stuff. And I've always said, I'm going to play Rock Band. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I've never gotten away from the counter to do it. And this year I got to do it.
Nobody is coming up for Waffles.
Well, you should say that they're ready and people can
Derek
come up.
made an announcement.
Well, you said imminent or incoming. You should specifically say, if you want a waffle, come and get it now.
Who wants waffles?
Yeah. Might want to tell the people in the back room as well.
I don't know if anybody's in the back room still.
I can hear people.
Oh, okay. The regular backroom crew was not there this year, so a
different
insurrection
crew.
occurred.
Yeah.
As you may be well aware, chat, Amanda and I exist on Mystery Science Theater references.
Yeah, that's pretty much how we communicate.
Waffle, waffle, waffle is from Viking Women versus the Sea Serpent, where inexplicably they made all the host segments about waffles.
Why?
It has nothing to do with the episode. There's no waffles in that movie.
They just decided that that's what they were going to be doing.
Somebody had waffles on the brain.
Guess so.
This is very relaxing to watch you knoll out the pieces. It's too bad most of our chat had to eventually go to sleep.
Yeah.
They stuck with us for quite a while.
Yeah, they did. You know, it is very early in the morning.
Yeah.
I know Bob was heading out to do a dunks run, so...
Yeah, I heard that. Was he going to get you tea?
Yeah, he was. I owe him for the tea.
I'm going to need more water soon.
Yeah.
I've been guzzling water.
I hear feet on the stairs.
Yep. Greetings, friends.
I got my ticket.
Provide me with a ticket and take a waffle.
Where do you get tickets? The register. $5. I'm going for that big one.
Do it.
Thank you, Andy.
Butter is there.
Crack an egg right on your waffle.
Right on the wall.
I think you eat a raw egg and then follow it with the waffle.
Waffle as a chaser.
Raw egg waffle chaser.
That's
not gonna work,
so
is it?
horrible.
If you guys want to get a knife, I'm certain we have plastic knives downstairs.
Alex, can you have Serena give you a couple of knives to bring up? Thank you.
So far the waffles have earned $10 for charity. Let's keep it coming. So I think, well, I know this has been the most successful Extra Life we've ever done. Last year, I feel like we barely broke 2,000.
In the
Right,
store.
our goal
Sims
was
had
2,000.
more after the fact,
Okay.
but in the store during
I remember
the marathon.
when we were announcing raffle prizes and we were calculating totals.
We-
were like,
we
oh, we
just
didn't
hit
break
it.
2,000. And then like somebody said, how far away are you? And we were like, we're like $40 away from 2,000. They said,
And they were
here's
like,
$40.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
So we barely went over $2,000 in the raffles and in-store donations last year.
Yeah. I checked it before the waffles and we were at like 1589.
We were well past 2,000.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I guess the thing I'm looking at is not showing us the full number.
Maybe you're not looking back far enough. I've been looking at totals going back to last Monday because that's when we started taking raffle entries.
You're right. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I just did today. That's right.
Because we've been doing raffle entries since Monday because that way people who can't be here.
What do you click on again? I know you showed me earlier. What was the? What
I just generated a report.
for? What
Click
else?
the Extra Life 2018 report and
Oh,
it
okay.
brings up everything since last Monday.
Gotcha. All right. So that's just I just used up the butters. That's,
Yeah, that's perfect.
I didn't lick the knife. What else we got here? This is the.
Yeah,
We
we've
were
got
banking on that, right?
we've got regular syrup, we've got jams, we've got whipped cream or whipped topping, I should say. It's not
dairy
whipped cream.
whipped topping.
You have to be precise with these things. So you guys are not mic'd, but Amanda and I were talking about what our favorite parts of Extra Life this year have been.
Yeah.
That you have to remove the seal.
Why won't the jam come out?
Alex,
Grr.
this is the first time that you've stayed overnight for Extra Life.
The whole night.
You've been here since noon. You came in at exactly noon and immediately started playing games on stream. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just couldn't get it out. Really? Yeah. You want to try? Oh, there's more.
Ticket. Waffle.
Any more streams after the
It depends on how much energy we have. I want to play Mars Open Golf, which is a dexterity game that Travis
I
bought
hope
in the store.
Travis brought.
I hope he brought it. Mars Open Golf. Whose jacket is this? Because it's going to get butter on it if we don't move it.
I don't know whose that is. But it needs it probably. Let's pull that chair away from the table and.
Yeah.
If we can move it like over by the, like where, we're gonna close Derek into his office basically.
So yeah, I want to play Mars Open Golf. I'd like to get that on stream. Amanda, you just played some flip ships downstairs. That
Yeah,
was
I
not
did.
on stream, but you played a full game of flip ships and
did.
actually defeated it.
We did play a full game of flip ships. We were able to beat it. And we played a regular game, not an intro game. We bumped it up to standard,
Well,
out of
I think-
practice mode.
You and Travis
Yeah,
are
Travis and I have played.
accomplished ship flippers at this point.
Derek joined us for that, so we had the help of Mr. Lloyd. Which
And
was-
Serena, right? And Serena.
No, Serena
Oh,
was,
she was just watching?
observing
I thought
and
she was
making
part of it.
sure that we did it correctly.
Oh, good. Yeah, you need that.
Yeah, otherwise, who knows what hijinks we would get into.
You could play frisbee ships, drop ships.
It specifically says that it's called flip ships, so you can't just send them sailing.
I'm pleased to hear it. Derek reports, waffle is good.
I can corroborate that, having already scarfed down my waffle.
I have lots, so there's going to be more waffles than any of us can eat. I was really anticipating more people being here at this hour. I feel like it's quieter now than it was last year at this hour. I could be wrong.
I agree. I've noticed it throughout. It just feels like a quieter year in general.
I just realized I didn't tell the back room gamers that Waffles ready, so.
We should tell them.
How do you guys feel so far?
I'm doing pretty well. Of course, I say that now.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx anything. I haven't looked outside recently, so.
The sun is not rising yet. I don't see blue outside.
I'm good. I'm not gonna.
What time is it? Almost 6 o'clock?
Wow. I've
We've
been
got
up for
6 hours to go, a little more than 6 hours to go.
Slightly less than 24 hours.
That means it would have been 6:45, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it would have been 6:45, but daylight saving
You
time
have
ended.
a big drip happening down the side of that bowl, so you might want to get a paper towel under it, like for it to sit on.
Alex, you are next. Did you already give me a ticket? Yeah, thank you.
Andy, here is a paper towel for the bowl to sit on after you've scooped.
Okay.
Okay.
This is good. You had a good. I don't remember the last time I had it.
There you go, Alex. And there's jams,
variety
whipped
of
cream,
toppings.
and butter. I'm actually going to use the butter momentarily.
It smells good.
And lots of syrup. I guess I'm going to eat that tiny waffle because nobody else wants it. It was the first waffle out. That's why it's so small.
It was the second waffle out.
The
'cause
second
I had the
waffle.
first waffle out.
Oh, no one took the tiny one.
Well, why would you? You paid $5. You're going to get $5 worth of waffle.
Yeah,
And
That's
topping.
fair.
I don't want $5 for tiny one. That's like 2.
Yeah.
So it's little.
That's the syrup. Yep. So yeah, I really enjoyed playing Artemis. I really enjoyed watching Orbis. I want to
Yeah,
play
Artemis
that.
was
That
Artemis
looks
was really
awesome.
great.
I watched a little bit of Mythic Battle Pantheon. I went down to play Artemis while you guys were playing that, and that looked cool.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
I love the concept of Forbidden Sky, but I feel like we did not efficiently coordinate our efforts.
No, and I feel like until you know how all the components go together, like the
Yeah.
tiles and stuff, it's very hard to efficiently plan.
Yeah.
You have to play it a couple
It wasn't as bad as The Captain is Dead Unlocked. Or,
No.
is that what it is? The
It's
Captain is Dead.
Lockdown.
Lockdown. That was a co-op game that is
That game was
absolutely
brutal.
vicious. Unless
game
you
was
know how to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, on a second playthrough, I'm 100% certain we'd do much better.
That's great. I'm never playing it again.
I could play it solo.
That's good for you.
Because now we have a better idea how everything works. And you have some notion of strategy. For anybody who did not watch our stream of The Captain is Dead Lockdown and is curious about it, it's a cooperative game where you play a crew of a starship whose captain has perished and are attempting to escape from a alien jail. And when we played it, we went full aggro. We bust out of that jail and we started lobbing grenades at the aliens,
That's
raised
not
all
the
kind
best
of
way
alarms.
to play, as it turns out.
Yeah. So, thank you, David. pro strat, if you decide to play the Captain is Dead lockdown,
It's fine if you don't.
play it. I mean, the flavor makes sense. You want to sneak around that jail, not just go out guns a-blazing. You want to avoid setting off alarms. You want to avoid encountering aliens. So sort of watch the alien movement pattern. I think early purchases, you should absolutely get access to closed-circuit security cameras, because that lets you know what the aliens are going to do ahead of time.
So useful.
Yeah. You need the teleporter
Yep.
so that you can get out of their way without them seeing you. I think those were the two biggest things we wished we had had earlier.
Yeah.
There's definitely some risk versus reward stuff in there. Like you can go to the mess hall and instigate a rebellion or whatever and get a random benefit from it. But like I said, it's random, so you don't know what the benefit is going to be until you do it. I did it and it helped us, I
Yeah.
guess, but it might not have. So, we got
I didn't like the
destroyed.
game.
We got utterly destroyed when we played that game. The VOD is in our YouTube, which is down there somewhere in the links.
We got wrecked.
Oh man,
It was horrible.
It was so bad. We got to a point where,
It wasn't fun.
yeah,
Like, there are games that we have played where we've lost. And games that I've played where, like, I've personally lost. And I've still enjoyed the experience of playing them. This game, I did not have fun playing it. And what's the point of a game that isn't fun?
who's getting next waffle?
I gotta finish this game right now. Oh, you have two guys. What am I doing?
It wasn't fun to play. Sorry. It wasn't. It was a demoralizing experience to play that game. So, that was a bummer.
Oh, beep, beep, beep. Playing my tune. Okay. I may only make one batch.
Yeah.
I have enough to make an entire second batch.
Put my plate over here for a minute.
Sure. Is Tom Callahan still here? He usually gets a couple waffles.
Maybe everyone's going gluten-free.
Maybe. These are not gluten-free.
No.
They
Maybe
have
they're all
4 cups
doing
of flour
keto
in there.
and aren't eating carbs.
Spoiler, your body needs carbs.
Yeah, your body needs carbs. Keto, yeah. Do it if you want, but your body does need carbohydrates.
It is that one?
It is that
Do you
one.
have ticket? Thank you all. So, butter, syrup, various jams, whipped cream. How sinful do you want your waffle?
I should have gotten Nutella.
Oh man, that sounds deadly.
They don't do squeeze bottles of Nutella, though.
No, that wouldn't work.
No, it could.
Powdered sugar.
That's a horrible idea.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently I'm not getting all that butter.
Butter increases.
Yeah. No, it's not coming off. Okay.
I figured out
It's just gonna live there.
the big thing with the records.
What?
Apparently the red enforcement, they do not block you from hurting the epic. For each one there, that moves up their blue track.
Oh.
So that makes it extremely dangerous very quickly.
So it makes the epics more mysterious?
And it makes the blue more valuable. So yeah.
But if you kill the red, the blue track goes back down? Oh.
You need blue to move back down.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's tricky.
Figure that out.
That's fine. Well, I mean, that's a game I want to play again, so.
Any,
Almost 6. 8 minutes.
I know you're building more Lego sets.
Yeah.
Is there any plan for any more gaming on stream?
There could be. I mean, the thing about the Lego stuff is it's bag by bag, so it's very easy for me to pause and
you're
move
next.
it aside.
I haven't paid yet.
No, go pay for a ticket.
Eat the damn thing. No, I mean eat the goddamn bread.
This is it though. It's the cards and figures that you need to read the home stretch, right?
Yep.
This is very relaxing.
Yeah.
Burp. Right into the mic.
Yep. That's how to do it.
Does your head feel any different? I mean, 'cause
Not
I'll-
significantly, but I keep going to brush my hair back because I feel it on my neck. I go like this, and like there's nothing.
And then it flops back
Yeah.
down because like, I had this in a ponytail earlier and it's
Yeah.
not.
I probably could put it back in a ponytail. No, it's too short. Too short to put in a ponytail.
No, you need to do a half pony with that. Just
could do
the
pigtails.
top. You could. Look like Manny.
Oh no! Alma, hasty!
Smells good.
And you have another.
So Travis, we were saying, as far as other games on stream, yes, that is yours. We have been pondering Mars Open Golf.
Oh god, yeah.
Did you bring it?
In my car.
Excellent.
All right, he says it's in his car, so that could be happening when we're done with Waffles. We practiced a little bit on stream, flicking the things at the goal and each other.
Oh yeah.
Try to like bury Travis in flags.
Yeah.
They're too small.
That if Travis fell asleep,
Oh, okay.
he was gonna get buried in.
Yeah, that would be the new game. And
Yeah.
you just pelt trap with all of these.
Sun's coming up.
Could somebody stick their head, or do you know if Derek put his head in the back room and told them?
I don't know. I didn't.
He's down at
hear
the
it.
front counter now.
Well, we could ask him.
Hey, we could ask him. Beep, beep. Maybe everybody in the back room is asleep. Maybe they've all conked out.
It's possible.
Necrotal, the team used with the
I'll ask him. That's a back graveyard.
Let's log it.
Oh my God! Thank you. What do I owe you? Thank you. Yeah. Look at the size of the box. This is all of the other bags that aren't out. Oh yeah. I have the Sandcrawler and I have the helicarrier. the Marvel Helicarrier at home. The Helicarrier is probably more
Bob, do you want
close
waffle?
to size.
I actually just grabbed myself
Okay.
if that doesn't do
They're
it.
fresh waffles.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get that healthy flow there.
Andy,
Yo.
Riley's coming up with one.
Okay. All right, so I am going to make a second batch then.
Okay.
There may be a slight delay in the next batch.
It has no goddamn
So Amanda, something I often find when I'm building a Lego kit
Yeah.
is I'm following the instructions and I'm looking at this vague abstract shape and I have no idea what it is until I turn the page and I'm like, oh, that's
I
what this
see.
is.
I've done a lot of Lego over the years. So right now I know that I'm building something rocky and craggy. And there are a couple of ways that I know this, and I'll show this on the stream. One, I know this because of the color scheme that I'm using. It's these light greens and browns and grays. And this is probably the base of the school, largely because it has a much more regular, sort of stripy, brick-like appearance to it, like stone-like appearance
Okay,
to
so
it.
keep one ticket. Second waffle will come up in a moment. You can take that one.
Yep.
What?
Appears we have probably
Past
passed the 4,000.
Oh.
4,000?
So we said,
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Ooh, actually.
What's that? We have. That is John's favorite game.
that is a mini piece. Oh, Greek mythology based. Play as gods from Greek myth like Zeus, Hades, and Athena. It's gonna be cool. It's got a great skirmish campaign.
Ticket? Waffle.
Bob brought me caffeine.
It's at 300 from the ticket. And then there was the 2,300 in the store, and then 1,500 from the
I feel like we're doing well. So, yeah, I'm talking a little bit about why this is what it is. It's a part of the castle and rock here, and that's
So this
largely
is
from experience.
The last waffle of this batch, David. Do you get the impression that people want more? Like, should I make a second batch, which is going to be as much waffle as we've already eaten? I figure I want a couple waffles. I ate one tiny waffle.
Yeah, and I'd have another. I'll have
Okay,
another.
second batch is going to come out then. Doing a second batch. Sure. Coffee is helpful. I did have a Monster Energy drink earlier, which was the first caffeine I've had in like 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's keeping me going. All right, I need eggs. I need more.
Oh, I see what that
Batter.
is. I have to say, this has definitely become a very nice segue for me into my late fall, early winter holiday season.
Extra Life, you mean?
Yeah, this is the gateway. This is where it starts.
You know when we hit Extra Life that it is time for the beginning of the holidays.
I'm sure this goes on a paper towel because it's dripping. Yeah, it's sort of like, this is like the beginning of the charity season because Extra Life is this weekend. Desert Bus starts next weekend.
I know. Oh, man.
It starts this coming Friday,
David, do you want to just toss that onto that plate?
which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
And then after that, we hit U.S. Thanksgiving.
Ow, hot. There you go.
And after U.S. Thanksgiving, we have the winter holiday season.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yes do. Winter holiday season is like we have Swedish Yuletide festival. We're gonna go see the Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
And my family does a lot of cooking and baking and getting together, hanging out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's in my family. That's a big. It's just a big. Let's all get together and have food together sort of season, which is awesome. It's it makes for a very nice winter holiday season because it's very much focused around being glad of each other's company and appreciating each other and eating a lot of really good food.
Yeah.
And so like my mom's birthday is coming up, my brother's birthday is coming up, my birthday is coming up. So in my family, it's like just a big time of year for us. And it's a very positive time of year. And I know for a lot of families that's not the case. For a lot of people that's not the case. So I try not to be like in people's faces about it. Because I wouldn't feel good about that. That being said, I really enjoy this time of year. So it's definitely something that I want to be able to appreciate.
Yeah.
And this is a really nice way to start it for me. Andy,
Yo.
you got something wet over here, and I don't know whether it's egg or tea.
Hopefully it's tea.
I hope it's tea. We'll know if it's slightly brownish tinged. Yeah, it is. So it was a drip of tea from my tea mug. But yeah, so this is a time of year when I really, it's an emotional boost for me. Like I said, I know that's not true for a lot of people, but it is for me. So I don't get in people's faces for not feeling the same way about it. But I also ask that people let me have this time.
Yeah.
It helps to know that this is coming. I'm not saying that like winter is always amazing and I've never had anything sad happen in winter. I definitely have.
Yeah. November is difficult for me and my family.
Yeah.
Particularly around American Thanksgiving. But it's good to have your family around, and it's good to have lots of friends and play lots of games.
Yeah. It's definitely, it helps to have a lot of people around that will boost you up when you're not feeling awesome. And my family's pretty good at that. So I am very, very lucky in my family. I am very well aware that I am extremely lucky in my family.
I think, Amanda, we're going to have some leftover waffles to come home with us.
Okay.
I'm okay with this.
Okay. I suspect I know why someone's singing that song.
What's going on?
Someone was singing the beginning of Here Comes the Sun.
Oh, yep. Yep, it is that time.
As long as I don't look down at the windows, everything's fine.
Yeah. We never need to see the sun again.
So Andy, what's your plan for just post Extra Life?
Okay, so we're gonna go home.
Yep.
We're gonna feed a cat.
Yeah, we're
We're
gonna
gonna
give her some
pass
attention.
out for a couple of hours. And
I
then
want to shower.
Oh, that's a good plan. I like that idea. And then I'm going to see if I have the brain power to return to post-nuclear apocalypse Appalachia. Because when last I played Fallout 76 Beta, I had just built my first outpost and found some power armor which I could not get into, probably because I need to take a perk to be able to wear power armor.
Most likely.
But I was able to take it apart. So I was carrying around power armor legs and arms, which way overburdened me. And I was trying, when the server went down at the end of the beta, to log my way back to my base so that I could put them in storage. I did not make it. So I'm very curious to know, when I log back in, what the status of my character is going to be.
Oh, I missed something. I missed something big.
You missed a step?
What did I miss?
Did you miss a page?
Yeah, I must have. It's okay. I
So,
suspect.
I
yeah,
may have-
it's just this.
I may have the brain power for that. I may not. I don't know. And after that, this evening, I would like to go to your parents' house to watch Doctor Who,
I think that's a wonderful plan.
because I am really enjoying Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor,
Me too.
and I want to see more. I love her portrayal of the Doctor, and I love the companions that she has. I love the dynamics they're building up there. Some of it is a little heavy-handed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because it's episodic television and it's intended to be watched on a weekly basis or something, but they keep going back to what's the older guy? Reg? No. But going back to him and his grandson and
Yeah.
yeah, there's things that are a little heavy-handed, like obviously foreshadowing that moment when his grandson calls him grandpa or something like that. Almost inevitably when his cancer returns. You know how these things work. You know the tropes. But I'm still really enjoying
Yeah.
the portrayal of the characters. They haven't had yet, for me, that magical episode that is just the epitome of Doctor Who. I know a lot of people felt Rosa was that magic moment, that it was the best episode they'd seen in ages, and they loved it to pieces.
I thought it was very powerful.
Yeah, it had an emotional
super powerful
impact,
episode.
but I don't know if it was a Doctor Who emotional impact. The episodes that have stuck with me the most from Doctor Who have
Yeah.
a certain flavor to them.
I think what I liked the most about what to me said made Rosa a Doctor Who episode was the idea of having to witness history. Of not just going there to muck around, not going there to be a part of it, but to witness it and know that you have to let a horrible thing happen, not because you can't stop it, but because you need to not stop it. It's not a physical impossibility. It's not like, oh, we can't stop Pompeii because it's a volcano and it's going to erupt, and we can't stop that because you can't. It's a we can't stop this because if we do, there will be
imperil the
consequences.
future. Yeah.
And there are consequences that we need to not happen. And there's a power in witnessing something and knowing that you're witnessing something world-changing and terrible at the same time.
I get
And-
all of that,
but
definitely.
the thing to me about that is that that doesn't exist if it's not about time travel and if it's not about the Doctor. The Doctor as a character saying, we have to not help.
Yeah.
And we have to use the fact that we're the people that she's being asked to stand up for. And we have to make that matter because it's horrible and we need to make it happen. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's a time travel show.
Yeah. It is.
And the Doctor...
Nominally.
Yeah. The Doctor cares about people.
That they have definitely brought home. I love the way that Jodie Whittaker is
I
bringing
also,
that to life in The Doctor.
for me, I also think some of the jokes in Rosa, because it's such a heavy episode,
Yeah.
some of the jokes in Rosa were perfect. They were perfectly timed. The whole Banksy thing was
Yes. Yeah.
perfect. There are a lot of...
And how
anyone,
could they know that Banksy was going to do a ridiculous stunt like 2 weeks before the episode aired?
Just
Yeah.
so good. So here's the thing. Anyone who has watched my painting streams in the past knows that I do pay attention to art feuds. Banksy is one of those artists who is kind of controversial, not in the way that you think Banksy is controversial, but in the art world. There are people who are like, oh yeah, Banksy's super cool. And then there are people who are like, he's a hack. You know, his messages are trite and his methods are clumsy and he's maybe not even a single person, but a collective. So there's a lot of differing opinions about Banksy. And so the Doctor sort of poking fun at that was 100% my jam. It was definitely the sort of thing that makes me laugh. Yeah, Banksy's ridiculous stunt. And the thing is, the whole Banksy's painting shredding itself as soon as it was sold thing, that's the gimmickiest gimmick that ever gimmicked. Ever. For one, someone had to be on site to trigger that happening.
Yeah, and film it
It's not
from
like the
multiple
painting
angles.
knows that it's being sold. It's not intelligent. So
John, could you
someone
ask the
had to
folks
be on
downstairs
site to make that happen.
for a new trash bag?
Not only does someone have to be on site to make that happen,
Are you done with those
But-
chicken fingers?
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
on top of that, the like photos and stuff about the assembly of the shredder, X-Acto blades wouldn't do that at the angle that they were placed. There's all sorts of like, really?
Where does this normally go?
Things
Yeah,
that
just
make
back
you
hall,
sort of
there's
question.
a garbage
And
bin back there.
it feels very gimmicky. It feels real gimmicky. In a, I don't know. I think I liken him to Michael. Is it Michael Moore?
Yeah.
Yeah, where there's probably a good kernel in there, and it's covered up with so much smug that you sort of have to go, sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Just
Tone it
let
down
someone
maybe a
else
little.
talk for a moment, okay? You're muddying your own message. So, shall I go for bag 2, or are we gonna? Because you're still making waffles.
Yeah,
So I
this is
might as
gonna
well
take a
go
little
for bag
while.
2.
So you've got the boathouse and the boats,
Yep.
and you've got
Some crap.
Godric
And
with his
and-
sword and wand.
yeah. Oh, you gotta have Gryffindor's sword.
Yeah, well. Thanks, John.
And I have to thank the Extra Life events for introducing John to our stream and
Yeah.
getting you involved in this nonsense. Because you have brought some amazing games. It's been a ton of fun playing games with you, hanging out. It's not supposed to, as far as I know. It's actually.
I haven't
supposed
looked
to
at
be
the weather. I haven't even thought about the outdoors.
Where is my phone?
I don't know the answer to that. It's probably under a bag somewhere.
Crud. I'm gonna want that. Oh, I found it. It's in a deeper pocket than I'm used to having.
I don't remember the taste of strawberries and cream.
We have some right here. You can just squirt them right into your mouth.
Okay.
Weather. Now, it's a moon, but in an hour it will be sunny.
I have bad news for you, Amanda.
I'm just talking about the phone app.
Okay, yeah.
And it's supposed to stay sunny all day, high of low 50s, like 51.
Were you hoping for rain?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's a valid concern.
That's why I brought them on.
It was supposed to pour.
Which it did.
Yes, we were in
It
that.
let up just long enough for us to get all the bits for the Artemis.
Yeah, for Bob to get all the Artemis stuff in.
Is that what you did right after lunch?
No, that was this morning. That was this morning at like 11 o'clock that he got here, and it had been pouring like buckets. And then it let up for just like 10 minutes, and that's when we unloaded his car, got all the electronics indoors. Derek, are you ready for another waffle? I just finished a second batch. There's so many extra waffles coming up. That's your plate over there? If you want to just shuttle that onto your plate.
Ooh.
That was the sole result of some very bad targeting decisions.
So John tells me you think we passed 3,000?
So
Or we passed 4,000?
4,000?
Yeah, what did I say? We're 2058, I said? 2058 in the store, then he said 300 or so in. Sims is cash. Yeah, so. Yep. 4K. Over 4K.
We passed our 4,000 goal already? That's amazing. That's just unbelievable. I thought that 4,000 goal was way too ambitious. Amanda,
I remember double counting the cash last year a couple of times because I wanted to make sure that I was giving you the correct total when
and I know
we
there
were
are
making
people
an
who have been
announcement.
holding off on buying raffle tickets until the very end because they want to see what has the fewest tickets so
So
they
they
can
have the
put
best
in for
chance.
those. Some of those envelopes are bowing out a bit. They are quite full.
The PAX East one is huge. The date with Derek is huge, as always, because
Yep.
that's really the best prize. I'm humbled by how many tickets are in the Fallout Figures envelope, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just nice to have that be something people want. And Allie's thing is, yeah.
Is it doing well? I'm so glad, because that was an amazing amount of work she put into that thing.
It's
And it looks so good.
gorgeous.
I liked how people who were like, I don't play 40K.
But God, do I want this? It's so
Just
gorgeous.
to put it on a shelf and have it.
I've heard at least 2 people who don't play 40 say,
The fact that she got that case for it, and it looks so good in that case.
Well, there was at least one person who was like, "I'd use this as a D&D boss. I would have
okay.
my party fight this."
It's an automaton that somehow knows how to cast illusions.
How'd you like the waffle? Filling. I don't know. Oh, ready for a waffle? It is almost ready. So give it a second. There it goes. One ticket, please. Thank you all. There you go. We've got butter, we've got syrup, we've got various jams and whipped cream if you're looking for something truly sinful.
It is.
We have 6 hours to go.
In the morning. Time for whipped cream on a waffle.
5 hours and 40 minutes to go. Ah, Travis has a red box in his hand. What could that be? I suspect you are correct. It's pink with red highlights. Do you want me to open that for you? Yeah. It's being stubborn. There we go. Got it.
Hang out with some friends. Sarah and folks, some of my friends showed up.
Sarah donated. Oh,
Yes,
I told you that.
Sarah did donate. Jen donated.
Yes. So what's the player count on that? 1 to 8. Ooh.
Yeah, we could.
We're not ready yet. If you want to help John, he needs to move these stacks back out to his car at some point. And those books.
Oh yeah, the books. It also can be played as an actual role-playing game.
I saw that. It's got the Mythic Battles Pantheon : the role-playing game. That's pretty awesome.
Essentially, you're playing the heroes instead of playing the gods in the scenario. But the gods become bosses.
So like Theseus and whatnot.
Try Mythic Battles Pantheon, the lunchbox.
Mythic Battles Pantheon, the flamethrower. Kids love that. Yeah, I know. I haven't had a chance to play a lot of the games because I've been running tech. But I was saying on stream earlier, the game I most want to play after watching it was Orbis. The game I most enjoyed playing was The Reckoners. Because that was, even if you got some of the rules wrong, that was so much fun. Who wants a waffle?
My favorite part, I think, was the teacher. Especially when it was like just an experience. When I had the most fun. Probably a toss-up between Explore It.
Man, watching you folks play Hexplore It, that was a lot of fun.
That's pretty cool.
It involved a lot of giant numbers. when you guys were getting towards the end and hitting for over 100 points. But then he drained you, and you couldn't hit for that many anymore, and he survived with like 4 points left.
4 health.
Wow. Intense.
Yeah. It's better version of the way it goes. Then you can go into the real meat and potatoes playthrough. The normal game you gotta play with killing every boss.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Travis.
Lessons learned from this year.
Yeah.
The donations went right up to the specific donation goals.
Oh, yeah, so we need to set more goals or offer more rewards for donations.
Now, I don't think you're going to be able to grow your hair back out to such a length
In 1 year?
in 1
No.
year's time.
And Amanda seems very opposed to the idea of my shaving my face.
Yeah.
No.
I like your
No.
facial hair.
No shaving of eyebrows.
Yeah, no, that seems
Too
like a
frequently
very
they don't
bad
grow
idea.
back. And then I'll look like worm tongue. Didn't Brad Dourif have a problem with his eyebrows not growing back?
No, he had a problem. He had a problem that they had grown back, or that he had them
And
shaved
he had to do
for
pickups.
another. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it wasn't so much that he had a problem with them like growing back, and not actually growing in. It was like filming pickup shots or having to film for other things, like going to other auditions and not having eyebrows.
Well, I mean, Brad Dourif has some really epic eyebrows. Let's face it.
Brad Dourif has an epic face.
You got an epic personality.
Yes.
It's always gonna be Chucky.
John says, always going to be Chucky.
He's also one of the actors I think honestly has fun with everything he does.
I feel like Gary Oldman does that too.
Gary Oldman does that. He just knows that he's
Excuse me.
What's his face who's playing Azrael in the new Good Omens? Sheen?
Oh yeah,
Michael
Michael Sheen.
He.
That's a man who knows how to chew some
I
scenery.
didn't mention it. I wanted to know your opinions because I read the book not too long ago. It's really good.
Love that book.
Good Omens? Oh man.
Good Omens
yeah.
is an amazing book.
I love almost everything that
chat,
Terry
go
Pratchett
read
has
Good
ever
Omens.
written. And I love almost everything that Neil Gaiman has ever written. And anything written by the two of them together,
We
damn.
actually have a copy of it signed by both of them.
That's awesome.
They were both, so several years ago, Worldcon is a big sci-fi fantasy convention that happens every year. And it happens every year piggybacking on an existing sci-fi fantasy convention in a city somewhere in the world. And cities apply to host it, and Worldcon members get to vote on where they want Worldcon to be next. And I think at the time, the year that it was in Boston, one of the cities that was up for it was Tokyo. So like, and I feel like one of them was Helsinki. Like it's worldwide. That's why it's Worldcon. And it piggybacked on BosCon the year that it was in Boston.
Mighty Mighty Boss Cones?
Yes, the Mighty Mighty BosCons. It piggybacked on BosCon, and it was awesome. We went. We were like, oh my God, Worldcon's going to be in Boston. We're never really going to have a good chance to go to it again because it's never going to be closer to home than now.
I feel like I was working and missed one day that you
did.
went, so you did a lot more at Worldcon than I did.
I got an amazing opportunity to watch several different panels, which was really cool. What was really nice about BosCon and about Worldcon in Boston and about going to a sci-fi literature convention as opposed to a gaming convention and the like is that you have a lot of the creators just hanging out at panels with you. I was sitting directly behind Tamara Pierce, who is one of my favorite authors in the entire world, in a panel about making books into like other media, into like movies and TV shows. And I didn't quite realize who was sitting in front of me because, of course, I could only see her from behind until someone on the panel was like, Tammy, you could talk about how even if it gets optioned, it's hard to get made. And she was like, yes. And I was like, oh my God, she's sitting in front of me. Which was just wild. So Boscombe was really cool in that way. And I got to go to a panel where this was after American Gods had been written,
Yeah.
but prior to Anansi Boys, which is the sequel, coming out. Neil Gaiman was in the process of writing Anansi Boys at the time. And he had a panel that was just Neil Gaiman reads from Anansi Boys.
He's so good
That
at
was
reading
the
his
whole
own stuff.
panel. No, this was after I graduated from college, so this is early 2000s. Right, so this is like post American Gods. And the panel was basically him reading the first chapter of Anansi Boys pre-publication. And it was amazing. He did voices and everything. It was very cool. Just listening to that was amazing. And Terry Pratchett was at the same convention. And so they were both present, and it was one of the last times I think that they were both present at the same convention. And at the same time, you know, like they were both there. And Terry Pratchett was the guest of honor. One of a couple of guests of honor. And he gave a guest of honor speech, which was amazing. I won't remember all of the things that he said, but he said he gave an absolutely outstanding speech. And he talked about working at a nuclear reactor when he was younger. He worked in a nuclear power plant. It explains a lot. But he worked at a nuclear reactor and he told stories about this in the his speech. He told stories about how one day a man set off the
Geiger counter?
The dosimeter on his way in, not out.
That is not good.
No, it's not, and it's because he had gotten his hands on a World War II altimeter and was taking it apart at his kitchen table. Unbeknownst to him, World War II altimeters do use a small amount of radioactive material, and he had basically irradiated his kitchen.
Little radioactive
Radioactive material. Though if you want some real wild stuff, look up the Radioactive Boy Scout.
Yeah, Amanda's talked about that a lot.
That is a wild ride from start to finish. But yeah, so he told stories about that. He told stories about how at some point someone had not disposed of some of the water with some radioactive slag in it properly, and a custodian had thought that it was just a bucket full of wastewater and dumped it down a toilet. So that involved going to the waste treatment plant and processing all the waste as if it was nuclear and like running it all through the right apparatus. Yeah, wild stories, really interesting stuff. And there was a point where there was a little bit of Q&A, and someone had asked, like, do you know what parts of Good Omens you wrote versus what Neil wrote? And Pratchett was like, no, because by the time it was published, we had both been handling each other's parts of it so much that no part of that was not touched by both of us. That we both handled so much of it because I'd write a chapter or a section and Neil would get his hands on it and start tinkering with it and send it back to me, and I'd tinker with it, and I don't remember which bits I came up with and which bits he came up with. A sentence here and a sentence there, but not whole concepts or characters, because they're very much creations of both of us. And he sort of paused and went, this would have been a great dramatic moment for Neil to walk in that door. And it would have been, and we all just sort of and it didn't happen because Neil was like in the middle of a panel at the time. But we couldn't find our copy of Good Omens. I have a very old copy, not like super, super old, but well loved, that was passed to me by my friend John from high school,
Arguably one of the funniest books.
who went by the nickname Flash, not by
Because
choice.
his last name was Gordon.
Yeah, his last name was Gordon. Poor
It's
guy.
just, you're doomed at that point.
Yeah, he was a boarding student, and one of the upperclassmen just decided that was his nickname, and that's kind of it in a boarding school. So he gave me a copy of that book that he had read and loved, and I was like, "Oh, you want it back?" And he was like, "No, I gave it to you." And I was like, "Oh, okie dokie." So I still have it. The front cover, I think, has come off, or maybe the back cover, but we couldn't find it.
Sort of like my copy of Raymond Feist's The Magician.
Yeah, Magician, I know your copy of that is pretty destroyed. But we couldn't find it. We couldn't find that copy. And I was like, they are both going to be at this convention. This is like, we're never going to get a better chance to get both of them to sign this book. So Andy ran to a B. Dalton in Boston and bought a copy.
It was near the convention center.
Yeah, it was
wasn't a
near the
long
convention
trip.
center, but it
Billy,
was still,
do you want
he
a
like,
waffle?
I cast 4 things all game.
$5. 1 ticket.
he ran
It's an
to
e-ticket ride.
he ran to the B. Dalton and bought a brand new copy. So it's not our well-beloved copy that's signed. It's a newer copy, but it is signed by both of them. So hearing Terry Pratchett speak, he explained how the luggage came to be.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Pie.
Good morning.
I'm talking about Terry Pratchett.
Welcome back, Insidious Pie. It feels like you just went to sleep. Did you get like 2 hours?
You said you had some insomnia.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. Like, this wasn't insomnia based, but
I'm sorry that
I
we weren't
have had that.
sleep-inducing enough.
But yeah,
Are you taking 5 hours of energy?
Yeah, that should get us there, right?
Yeah. We've got 5.5 hours to go.
So
I know, I gotta hold off for half an hour.
let's talk for a moment about the luggage. So
Oh yeah, we're talking about
we're
Terry
talking about Pratchett. So the luggage is one of 2 D&D based things that Terry Pratchett talked about in his guest of honor speech at Worldcon.
Yeah. I need another plate.
He
Take 1 half bottle for moderate, and you take 1 whole bottle for maximum energy.
Maximum
Okay.
energy.
It sounds like a Broly.
So who has read any of the Discworld stuff? Pratchett's Discworld
Most
stuff?
of them. I haven't.
Okay, but you know what the luggage is? It's got
Sapient
all
Pearwood.
the feet. It's the it's the big chest. Yeah, that follows Rincewind around.
Yeah, it starts with 2 flower.
God, yeah. So the luggage came about because Terry Pratchett used to run D&D games in his neighborhood. So the luggage pie is a big chest. It's like a big, like wooden chest. And it's made out of a wood called sapient pearwood, which means it has sort of a mind of its own. And it has lots of little feet and is self-ambulatory and can also hold a seemingly infinite amount
It's
of
basically a
stuff
bag of holding that follows you around.
on feet. That also has a kind of a brain. Like, it if it's attacked, it will defend itself.
No.
No. So yeah, the luggage is amazing. It's very cool. And the reason it came about was because Terry Pratchett ran D&D games for the teens in his neighborhood.
Which sounds awesome.
It does. It sounds super cool. Wouldn't it be awesome to say that Terry Pratchett was your first DM? Oh my God, right? So
Waffle.
being Terry Pratchett and
Butter,
running
syrup,
games with
compote,
a lot of
Whatever you need.
teens and preteens. Such players who are new
You are very welcome.
have
Find out if anybody
a
else wants one.
tendency to make their characters
thanks.
OP a bit, right? So these players had
The
made
second
their
wave
characters
of waffle
maybe
eaters are coming.
you're here. There are waffles.
No penalty?
What do you mean?
Don't let me run out.
No, we have not run out.
we are not running out.
How much is Waffles?
$5.
So they
All right, do you want a slightly older one or do you want fresh?
I'm hungry.
Okay, here. Have a slightly older one, and a fresh one will come out in a moment.
So he decided they had amassed a
He's got a fork.
ridiculous amount of like magical armor and weapons and all sorts of good stuff. And of course,
No butter?
that meant that
Butter
there
right
was
there.
no challenge in
Knife.
a lot of the stuff that he was throwing at them. They just tossed on their magical armor and picked up their magical weapons and would just like go to town on whatever he threw at them. So he was getting a little sick of that nonsense. So what he did was he gave
Nope.
them
Excellent.
gave
Perfect timing. Do you want this
them
one on top of that one, or do you want a separate plate? Okay.
a ambulatory bag of holding. But it needed to take direction. You needed to tell it, okay, follow us. Okay, stop.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, keep going. We're gonna turn right. So you needed to direct it. It wasn't, going to know where to go if you didn't tell it. So, this went on and on and on for a while, and they quite liked having a bag of holding that carried itself.
So they put all their expensive stuff in
They
it.
put all their stuff in it. How great is that, right? So they put all their really cool stuff in there. Whoa!
Steve, what are you doing?
Thank you.
Riley, come get yourself a waffle. I think you've earned it.
Yeah, I think that gets a waffle.
That's the second $100 donation that Steve Riley has put in, I think.
Yeah, because
Man is
So-
a maniac.
Yeah, it sort of became an escort mission, but it was definitely they were more than happy to have it because who wouldn't, right?
That's the kind of thing.
So
That's the kind of thing I run into.
they kept going and going, and they were very conscientious about telling the chest where to go and what to do. And then this is the second thing that Terry Pratchett talked about introducing, and this is a creature that he introduced that was something you could encounter in a dungeon, and it is the sweet little girl. The sweet little girl looks very innocent and very sweet, and when you enter her presence, you need to pass like a will save. You
You don't
basically
kid around, man. You
you
don't
need
kid
to.
around with
I
your
think it's like a wisdom save. It's like either wisdom or charisma save. And if you fail it, and they
You did
all
the grape.
failed it, you want
Right?
to make her
That's a strawberry.
happy. Why wouldn't you want to make her happy? You know what makes
Actually, that
her
looks
happy?
like strawberry.
Singing and
I can't tell.
dancing. And so you enter
Oh, that
into
one's
this
still sealed.
cave.
This one's open,
And
I
not
think.
only are you trying to make her happy by singing and dancing, but so is every other monster that was in that cave. So you've got a couple of lizard men, you've got a gelatinous cube, you've got some oozes, you've got a bugbear. Every creature that you might encounter is holding hands and dancing and singing and yeah, having a great time. And then the sweet little girl leaves.
And everything
You're
that
not
was
in her
thrall.
aura anymore.
Yeah.
And now nothing is enthralled. And you all look around at each other and you're now holding hands with a bugbear.
And your luggage has wandered off.
Your luggage has not only wandered off, it wandered off a cliff. And took all your fancy stuff with it.
want to thank you for reminding me about the Terry Pratchett thing, because Audible just released a collection of his Discworld stories. in
Ooh.
BBC theater style.
Oh, nice.
So
Very nice.
I just picked it up.
So yeah, I love and adore Terry Pratchett's work. The man was not messing around.
The Night Guard is one of the best fantasy books ever written.
Oh, did you hear? There's a series coming out of that.
Hogfather is good.
There's like a mini series coming out of the Night Watch.
Like the style with the Hogfather,
Nice.
where they did the BBC style.
No, like Netflix series type
cool.
style.
Yeah.
It was like just announced the other day. So yeah, I love his work. He did great, amazing social commentary.
Can I talk about my
Probably one of my
favorite, slightly disappointing parts of Worldcon that year?
Sure.
We went to a
God,
panel
yes.
that was advertised as Utopia and Dystopia discussed.
Yeah,
And
It
of
sounded
the
amazing.
3 signed panelists, 1 showed up.
yeah.
And
They had double booked a bunch of panels.
yeah, so
So-
only 1 panelist arrived, and he had to leave midway through the panel because he was being awarded an award for his life and works.
And he had always wondered about his life and works.
Yeah, that was William Tenn.
Which is a pen name for an author. Let me find it because I looked it up.
He was
once.
fascinating for the half hour that he was actually at the panel before he left. And then the panel just sort of, the poor moderator was stuck up there with no panelists, all by his lonesome.
And
So he started asking questions of the audience.
and it was a small audience,
And
like it was a
boy,
small
did
room.
Boy, did it degrade from there.
It turned into people talking about their political views and
Yeah.
How to create a utopia, which William Tenn himself would have been 100% against, because his whole premise is that every utopia is someone else's dystopia. And he came up with this idea because he fought in World War II and had this revelation that to someone like Hitler,
Oh gracious, that one's
He was-
too brown.
creating
This one's too angry.
a utopia, but it was obviously a dystopia for
Turn
everyone
this
else,
down a nudge.
for so many people. So he thought there's never going to be a universal utopia. Any utopia that someone comes up with is going to be absolutely detestable to someone else. And there's just no way to create a universal utopia. And so whatever utopia you come up with, there's going to be someone who is going to be horrified by it. Regardless of what you think is amazing, someone else would be horrified by it.
And this panel was
And like that's a fascinating
this
that's
panel
a
was
fascinating theory.
2003. So just before the second election of George Bush.
Yeah.
Uh,
So political
and
tensions
people
were riding high.
This was in Boston.
Yep.
So
there's
people
also
had
that-
opinions.
And there's
about
always
dystopias.
that feeling of I live in a fairly liberal city, which means I'm oppressed by like not being liberal. And yeah, it turned into a really nasty political argument, and Andy and I booked it right out of there.
Is there a video?
No, it was
I-
too tiny a panel.
Yeah. The room was smaller than.
The room was like, maybe if you added half again as wide as this loft,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan
and half again as long, you'd have that whole room.
I'm a big fan of
It was
failed,
really small.
Convention fails and like horrifying stories from cons.
Oh no.
Like,
So, are you a big fan of TwitchCon?
not so much TwitchCon, but TumblrCon.
Oh, DashCon is one of my favorite things in the world.
Funny,
Oh no, this piece just keeps falling apart.
the ball pit, man.
Yes,
You gotta-
Hey,
an extra
you get an
hour
extra
in the
hour
ball
in the ball
pit.
pit.
But yeah, oh man. Do you think the DVD actually exists?
Is there a DVD of
I
DashCon?
was supposed to have a DVD advertised on the website,
Huh.
but
I have lost a
Nobody
piece
has
and I'm gonna
offered it up.
need it.
did it rocket over here?
It might have. God.
So much garbage on this floor.
I do not wish to hit wire. I see nothing.
Hang
It's
on.
not in your shirt.
My shirt?
Is this your shirt under here? It's a plaid shirt.
The plaid shirt's mine. I see it.
Okay.
You got it. I see it.
Ah,
I can reach it maybe with the chair.
I got it.
Yay! Lego problem solved.
Related to waffles, can you donate an amount that offers someone there a free waffle? I think people are actually pretty covered for waffles. But it is a very nice offer. But I think most people who have wanted waffles have come up to.
Yes. Do you want a too
flame.
crispy waffle? Here.
We could play, Mars Golf with waffles.
No, we couldn't. But yeah, it was one of those things where the panel, as advertised, looked amazing, and the bit that we had with the author who was supposed to speak was really cool, and I've thought about it ever since. But the panel did not play out as intended, which was a real bummer. But Worldcon itself was very cool. I got to go to a panel with, I don't remember who the other authors were, and I feel really bad about that. But I mainly went because Tamara Pierce was on it, and it was a. We'll have to make waffles again when you're around.
Oh, I'm always happy to make waffles.
But it was a panel about creating gods and pantheons for fantasy novels, which I thought sounded really cool. And Tamara Pierce is one of my favorite authors in the entire world, so she was going to be on it. So I was like, well, I'm going to that panel. At the time, I did not know who George R.R. Martin was. Didn't really. He wasn't like there was
It was
no.
before the television.
Well
Game of
before the
Thrones.
television show. So
I had read the first 2 books, I believe, at this point.
yeah, it was definitely well before like he was a more of a household name.
I was a fan of the trading card game. Well, the LCG before the show came out.
Oh.
And oh my god, the art was so bad. Oh, that was such
I didn't know his stuff.
I picked up Game of Thrones because I had been a big. Did you want a waffle? Waffle. Okay. Waffle me. Do you want a fresh one, or do you want one that's been sitting for like 2 minutes?
Yes, waffles and cupcakes. Waffle cakes. But I didn't really know
It
him.
is. There's a little butter left.
But he was on the
there's
panel,
syrup,
and so
jams.
was Tamara Pierce, and she had a book that was coming out. It had not yet come out. It was on
Yes.
its way.
Or a close
and
analog thereof.
she-
It's dairy whipped topping.
She had obviously been asked about it a billion times at the convention already. So her response to that was, as they were introducing each other themselves, she said, "I'm Tamara Pierce, and please stop asking me when the book is coming out. I will get you a date as soon as I can." And then she leaned in and
over.
goes, "George, when's the next book coming out?" Which was just golden. It was a beautiful moment.
air horns going up in the background.
Just so perfect, so beautifully done. So such a moment. It forever
Seared
in my
itself
mind.
in your memory.
Yeah.
Ow.
Oops, I put that in the wrong place.
Yeah, I got into George R.R. Martin because I had been reading a lot of Kate Elliott, who is a similarly bloodthirsty fantasy writer. And I had finished her Crown of Stones series. And her next series had not started yet, which was something about griffins, I seem to recall. Yeah, so in the second series of books, this is sort of Kate Elliott's bloodthirst level. She introduced you to a couple.
No, this isn't Kate Elliott. Melanie Ron.
No, this is Kate Elliott.
Oh,
Melanie
then
Ron's a
Melanie
different
Ron
thing. It was the
also
first
did this.
chapter of what I think were the Griffin books. The very first chapter, she introduces you to this couple, and one of them gets murdered gruesomely in the first chapter. That one is the hero of the series. Trying to regain her memories after being revived mysteriously from her murder.
Mysterious revival.
Yeah.
So-
Good times. Good times.
I need to go, well, I'm going to wait till this waffle is done, but I need to go rinse these out because they have waffle batter, which turns to cement if you do not rinse it
Yeah.
while it is wet.
Yeah,
Yep.
Melanie Ron is similarly bloodthirsty in that there's a bit in one of her books where she introduces a couple just to kill them off. Like, she goes through this whole thing where she tells you about how, like, they were a political marriage, they didn't really know each other, but they were both, like, very intent
were
on taking
pragmatic.
care of their people, and therefore, if they had to be married, they were going to, like, they were going to make it work. They were going to
And
work it
over the
out.
course
Everything was
of,
going to be
like, a
fine.
decade,
and
they
over
fall
the
in
years, yeah, they
love.
fall in love. They realize, wow, we really have come to care about each other, and so they go on like a second honeymoon. And their people are so happy for them that, like, because they're actually really good rulers and they take good care of their people, and they go on their second honeymoon, and the marauders coming in from afar land on the beach, come to their house, board it up, like nail boards over it, and set it on fire.
Okay. So it's a Mandy situation.
And they die. And that's how you know that you're supposed to hate these villains. Melanie Ron has a tally of who's alive and dead at the beginning of her books, just to catch you up. Also because a lot of the characters have very similar names, because the whole culture that she built, people name their kids after, like, important people in their lives, and so their kids have similar sounding names. So yeah, she has whole, like, family trees and stuff, talking about who's dead and when and how. And she has in an introduction, what? Me? Bloodthirsty? Melanie Ron also, if you're gonna go look for Melanie Ron, don't read the Exiles books.
4 hours to go.
Much as I love Melanie Ron's other stuff, the Exiles books are never getting finished. Ever. She wrote books 1 and 2 and then had a dispute with her publisher. And the dispute with the publisher went on long enough, and she was like, I have other projects with due dates. I got projects that I have to finish, that I am getting paid for. And book 3, no one's paying me for that right now, and I don't have a deadline on it, and I have other things that I need to get done and I need to work on. And by the time the dispute with the publisher was settled, she had lost that thread. And it's got enough like emotional, like, weight attached to it because of the dispute and the amount of time that it took, that it's unlikely that she's ever going back to it. To give you an idea, book 2 came out before I graduated from college, and that was 18 years ago. So, yeah, it's a real bummer because book 2 ends on a cliffhanger. Because of course it does. Book 2 ends with one of the things in the Exiles books is that there are, like, these portals that you can enter that are anchored in certain places, and they're all known about. The ones that you can access have been, like, mapped. You know this one goes to here, and this one goes to here, and this one goes to there. And you don't come across ones that you don't know about. And there's a political upheaval and a coup, and the heroes One of them is murdered. One of them is killed in the coup, and the like his wife and everyone else involved in the family find a previously blocked up portal like behind a wall, and they break through the wall and go through the portal, and they don't know where they're going, and that's the end of the book. That's where it ends. Real cliffhangery.
Where do you think they went? Were there any hints?
No. Like, the whole idea was that it's the exiles. So the idea was that they were going somewhere that you really had no clue. They were desperate. They would not be going through this portal unless it was the only choice they had, because it's dangerous to go through them not knowing where they land. So they could be into enemy territory. They could be on a deserted island. You don't know. And yeah, that's where it leaves off, and that's where it has left off since prior to the year 2000. So yeah, if you're gonna go read Melanie Ron, and I highly recommend her other stuff, I especially recommend the Dragon Prince series. It is adult content, but if you like Game of Thrones, then you'll like the Dragon Prince books. There's 3 books in the Dragon Prince series, and then there's an immediate sequel trilogy, which is the Star Scroll books, which is Stronghold, the Star Scroll, and Skybowl. And they're fantastic. It's political machinations and dragons and death and marauding brigands and magic done by weaving sunlight and then weaving moonlight, which is forbidden, and starlight, which is even more forbidden. And talking to dragons and people having their own color stories that are like what makes them up. And yeah, it's amazing, and there's like all sorts of history, and people's ancestors did bad things to other people, and now it's coming home to roost, and it's wild stuff. It's really good stuff, and I love those books. And everyone that I meet who is super into Game of Thrones, who's like, oh my god, Game of Thrones, I love it because of all the politics and all the murder. I'm like, you should read Melanie Ron's books. There are 6 of them, and the series is done. So you're not going to be constantly waiting for the next one to find out what happened. No, it happened. It's done. There's an end. And no one to this day has taken me up on it, and I don't know why. Because seriously, that Melanie Ron is an amazing writer, and her characters are fantastic.
Is there an audible version?
There might be. I don't know.
What is the series called again?
The Dragon Prince, which is really difficult because there's a cartoon that just came out on like Netflix called The Dragon Prince that was made by the same folks as who made like Avatar and stuff, and it's not related.
Dragon Prince, the Star Scroll, the
Sunrunner's Fire. Yeah.
Okay, there are audio versions.
Awesome. Yeah. I highly, highly, highly recommend those books. They're chunky. There's a lot to them. But yeah.
Krista Lewis.
Don't know her.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know audiobook stuff as much.
I may check this out actually.
But yeah. Nice. Yeah, my commute to work is like 5 to 10 minutes. So I don't have a lot of time in my car to listen to books. And when I'm like working on something like writing, if I'm writing, I don't want to be listening to someone else reading while I'm writing, because I will unconsciously start typing what they're reading out loud. So I have to just have music that won't like make me type what I'm hearing.
I'm walking outside all day. Just put this
Yeah, so that's perfect.
just let it go.
Yeah, if I'm jogging, I need music that has a beat to keep me moving at the right pace. So yeah, audiobooks just I can't do them as much. If I'm knitting, then audiobooks or podcasts are really good because it's something to keep my brain occupied while my hands are moving, and my eyes are occupied, but not in a I need to be like reading stuff way. Right. If I'm painting and I'm not streaming, then that would be good. If I'm knitting, any craft done with my hands. Yeah, like your commute is long enough that totally makes sense. Whereas my commute it's not long enough to make it worth it. But yeah, so
Guys, when are we doing Mars Golf?
as soon as we finish cleaning up here.
Let me eat a couple of waffles.
Yeah. But yeah, so I do love like reading, and I like audiobooks as like a concept. Yeah, a 5 to 10 minute. If I'm going to my branch, it's like 5 minutes. 10 minutes if traffic is nasty. My commute to the main library is 10 minutes. 15 to 20 if traffic is nasty. It's just not enough to make it worth trying to listen to an audiobook. I'd forget where I was.
Hey, I'm back.
He's back.
I'm going to put these...
We're talking about audiobooks and the like. I'm trying to get people to read Melanie Ron.
You should read Melanie Ron.
One quick note, when I say that it's similar to George R.R. Martin, I do mean there's a lot of violence.
Donation.
Like war violence. And there's war violence. There's not much in the way of sexual violence. There's one major nasty scene in the first trilogy, and one that happens sort of off screen or off the page in the second trilogy, and both are treated as horrible occurrences. Both are treated as really negative, really nasty, and there being consequences, and really negative consequences for the people responsible, and also the emotional backlash for the victims. And so
Keep
while
doing this. I keep trying to brush my hair back, and it's
and
not
yeah,
there.
we did. We cut the hair, and it is going purple. So.
Yeah, we got that donation like 5 minutes, 15 minutes before the due date.
I'm taking half a waffle.
Do it.
So yeah, I just a content warning of there is some sexual violence, and but the sexual violence that's in there is not it's not gratuitous. I in no way ever felt reading it like this was supposed to be titillating in any way.
No.
It's meant to be horrible. It's meant, and it's used very sparingly, and it's, yeah. And one of the characters makes a decision about the consequences of it that is condemned by another character, and later, but she does it anyway. She's like, nope, doing it, and later on, it's made clear that the other character has sort of been like, all right, yeah. She made that decision, and it was her decision to make.
All right, so, hey, Amanda.
Yeah.
How much do you think we raised for waffles?
I don't know. How much did we raise for waffles? Because we actually used up most of the waffles.
$70. We made enough money making this waffle breakfast to pay for next year's waffle breakfast. That was pretty awesome.
That was pretty awesome. So Andy's going to eat his waffles.
Yep.
And then we're going to clean
I'm gonna
this
eat
up.
my waffles on camera with myself mic'd, so prepare for the
Delicious.
munching noises. Yum, yum.
Do you want me to grab recommended right now?
But yeah. Oh, and William Tenn is the sci-fi pseudonym for Philip Klass.
He was classy.
He passed away in 2010, which I'm not surprised about. I mean, he was born in 1920, so. Yeah, he wrote under, I feel like, a couple of pseudonyms. Let me look. Because he wrote different, like, genres, and he used different names for different genres, which is really interesting.
That sounds like a hell of a game. That sounds like a hell of a game.
Wonder if I'll get a chance to play more Artemis today.
Yeah, I don't know. I know he wrote under a pseudonym. But if you want to read his stuff, William Tenn is the name to look for if you're looking for sci-fi.
So I feel like I don't read as much sci-fi and fantasy as I used to. I read a
I
whole
do for
bunch
work.
of Peter F. Hamilton. Big, thick, heavy books. Some of them not great.
Not that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hard to put down.
I read a fair
Like I
amount
said, Kate
of
Elliott.
YA
I love Kate
for
Elliott,
work,
but
so,
she's brutal.
yeah,
We're talking just bloodthirsty authors in general.
basically.
Shakespeare's still my number one.
I mean, yeah.
Shakespeare, sure.
Well, that's how you know the difference between a comedy and a tragedy. Is everyone getting married or is everyone dead?
Which is which?
Very thin line, though.
I know, right? See, there's a question. I recently read a really fun book called Jane Unlimited, which is by Kristen Kishore.
Is there a TV series about now?
Jane the Virgin.
Oh.
Very different. And I am not a big proponent of Jane the Virgin. I take public health issues too seriously. No, Jane Unlimited is it's a novel that came out this year, and on the surface, it starts out looking like it's probably realistic fiction, maybe some intrigue and like action involved in it, because you have a main character, Jane, who has grown up living with her aunt. And her aunt is a photographer, a nature photographer, and a very well-known nature photographer. And so she's away a lot as Jane gets older. Jane's a teenager, and so her aunt goes on, trips to take photos in like Antarctica and stuff. So she goes on one such trip, theoretically, when she disappears. And Jane is told that her aunt has been lost without a trace, and she's not coming back. And Jane finds herself rather adrift at this, which is understandable. And is she had plans to like start college and do all sorts of things. And now, like, what do you even do when you find yourself sort of unmoored like that? And she's just sort of getting by day to day when an acquaintance from school shows up in town, and they get to talking. And as they talk with each other, this friend discovers that Jane has recently dealt with a loss, that she's by herself, and that she really doesn't have any plans for the future. She really doesn't know what she's doing. And so her friend, who comes from a ridiculously wealthy family, invites her to to come stay at her family's house on their personal island for an unspecified amount of time. The family is having their sort of annual get-together charity fundraiser sort of deal or something. There are going to be all these stuffy people coming and staying at the house. And basically the daughter of the family is like, I can't bear to like deal with this on my own. My brother's no help. If you come with me, you can stay for however long you want. It'll be a good getaway and you'll be keeping me company. So Jane goes with her and discovers that there's some mysterious things happening on this island. First, she discovers a potential case of art fraud.
I was wrong. We didn't make $70. We made $75.
So then she discovers a potential case of art fraud. They have like an amazing art collection. There's a little girl running around the house, and no one seems to be willing to acknowledge that this kid is here. And there's also a dog that won't leave Jane alone. This dog like clings to her. And no one seems to know where the dog came from. Her friend says, yeah, he appeared last year at this party. We just assumed one of the guests brought him and left without him. But the dog attaches himself to Jane, basically. So there's the mother of the family. Well, it's the friend's stepmother disappeared mysteriously after last year's party. The going assumption is that she ran off with a new boyfriend, and it doesn't want to show her face. So there are a bunch of unknowns going on. There's a kidnapping case going on in the background that you hear like news tidbits about, and there's sort of a suggestion that maybe something is connected.
Sounds like it could be a good stage production.
It could be, except
then it gets interesting.
There's a point about a third of the way into the book, page-wise, where a bell sounds, and Jane is on the staircase, and she has to make a choice. Does she go seek out the housekeeper and ask questions about her aunt, because apparently the housekeeper knew her aunt? Does she follow the dog who is whining and wants her to go to him? Does she go to find her friend in the library? Does she? So she has like 5 different choices
Travis?
to make. Exactly. So the first one she follows is, I think, the housekeeper, and that turns into an action adventure.
So it's
much too hot.
Run, little run.
No.
Sort of.
Because there's never a point where Jane is cognizant of going back.
Okay.
It's that you, the reader, get to go back and watch her make a different choice. So one of them is an action adventure.
Travis needs more 5-hour energy.
And is basically like about art fraud and art smugglers. One is like espionage and spies and stuff. One is slightly goofy Doctor Who-ish sci-fi. One is definitely Madeleine L'Engle sort of fantasy. And what's the last? Oh, one is gothic horror. So there's a different genre for each choice that she makes, and different things happen. But what I love about it is that it becomes obvious further into the book that all of these things are happening simultaneously, just not with Jane there. So just because she doesn't follow the art fraud storyline because she's in the gothic horror storyline doesn't mean the art fraud storyline isn't happening. It's just that Jane's not learning about it. Just because she doesn't follow the gothic horror storyline, that doesn't mean that that gothic horror stuff isn't happening in that house. It just means that Jane doesn't get sucked into it. So the story follows these various threads, and you basically get to decide which story you want Jane to have followed. But that doesn't mean those other stories aren't happening. It just means that Jane is not partaking in them at the time, which it's fascinating. I thought it was really well done, and as someone who does write, I loved the idea of it being sort of an exercise in genre as well. So. I think we've lost Travis.
No, still awake.
We have not lost Travis. He spoke.
What I recently read was, have you ever read an Inspector Calls?
Mm-mm.
It's a play, essentially. The concept behind it being, Inspector suddenly shows up to a house after they have a wedding celebration that two people have gotten engaged. And then he interrogates the father because a girl just recently committed suicide in the local hospital.
Okay.
After he interrogates the father, he then goes by one to explain, to figure out how exactly each member of this family
Alex, are you out? Are you leaving soon?
No, I'm just putting
Just taking your stuff down?
has,
Okay.
has somehow affected this girl's life to the point of causing
Excellent.
her fate. And but the real mystery unravels after we learn all of this information. And it's
Okay.
extremely interesting with the ending. It's very cool. Highly recommended.
I would recommend Jane Unlimited. It was
Sounds very
it was a surprise. I thought it was really fun. I had a really good time reading it. And I wasn't sure what to expect. Like, I read it and I was like, ooh, different stories, different paths, and I was like, that sounds fun. But I wasn't expecting it to be sort of the genre thing that it turned into, which was really, really awesome. Yep. That's the one. I don't think I'm going to get much more of this built today.
You made the port?
I did, yeah. That I was able to do.
It's been a good day.
It has been. What did I just do with bag 3?
Bag 3, I haven't seen you.
I feel like I just, like, put it... I just moved it somewhere. These are, like, the weird, annoying big bags.
The ones with the castle pieces?
Yeah, because they aren't numbered, so you don't know when you're going to need them. There's 3.
Hey friends. Are we ready for Mars Golf?
Yeah. Travis comes alive for Mars Golf.
All right, so we're going to. You were gone.
No, I heard it.
Oh no. So we're gonna shut down for a few moments to reset the stream. We're going to come back with Mars Golf Open, which is a dexterity game that Travis has picked up that we haven't had a chance to officially play, but we've sort of played around with. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
Andy, is this